Yo, and welcome to the 9th episode of Lake of Rage, a Pokemon trading card game podcast. I am your host, Kevin Clementi, aka Mellow_Magikarp. I am joined today by two very special temporary guest hosts. Joining me for the third time is Nikhil, aka the Gyroscope Eevee.
How's it going, everybody?
And coming all the way from Spain, we have one of the best players in the Pokemon trading card game, Pedro Torres, aka Sinichi18.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, it's Pedro here. So really happy to be in this podcast. So thank you for the invite.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you willing to share your wisdom with us. So the plan for today, we're going to get to know Pedro a little bit better. So we got some messages. You know, we'd called this section speed dating, and a lot of you had tried this on a date, and you were like, they left me immediately. I just kept asking them questions incredibly quickly and didn't give them a chance to answer, and it worked terribly, and I hate you. And so I understand. So we are now rebranding. It's no longer speed dating. It is now rapid strike questions to go off of everyone's favorite bear. So we're going to use that to get to know Pedro a little bit better. We're going to give some Players Cup 4 updates. We've all been playing our keys. We've all been watching people play their keys. And let's be honest, we're in the middle of Players Cup 4. We all kind of want to know how everyone's doing and what to think about it. We're going to talk about the battle styles meta a bit. We're nearing the end of it. So we're going to talk and see, has it actually been good? Are we currently in a meta that we enjoy? Or are we in a meta that's just not Vivid Voltage meta? And then we're going to take some questions from Twitch chat. As always, we are live on twitch.tv/mellow_Magikarp. If you'd ever like to join us for a live podcast, drop a follow. It's in the link in the description. So, Nikhil, how have you been?
It's good. I finished my college classes a couple weeks ago, but I still got one high school class to clean up on this coming week. So I got finals in 2 weeks for that. So it's a lot of that. And then we're starting summer camp soon at my job. So I got to start setting that up too at the same time. And I'm graduating in 2 weeks. So it's a very stressful 2 weeks, but I'm happy to be back on the cast.
Oh, let's go. Do you get to walk? Is there like a full ceremony?
Yes. It's not like as big as it should be. I think 2 guests per person, so both my parents will be there. We're trying to like get my brother to come too, but we'll see.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Pedro, how's your week been?
Well, doing well. I finished my degrees like 5 years ago, so not studying. I'm right now living the Pokemon life. Sadly, not in real life because we will have events hopefully in the future. But right now, with no events, I'm focusing on Twitch, trying to creating content and entertain the people. On my way to get the partner. So, well, I got a decline for the first time, but I'm gonna continue working this month to hopefully play again. And if not, maybe after summer. So yeah, enjoying on Twitch and playing Pokemon every day and having fun and staying with my family. We're doing well. What is the more important thing, I guess. So yeah, everything is going great.
Morning streams because I get up early for before I have classes and stuff, and I love waking up. I'm like, please don't be on. And it's always Paige. I'm like, someone's on. Yes.
I'll get up usually about an hour before I have to leave for work, and I never comment in that early in the morning because I just throw it on the TV while I'm getting ready, but I'll always tune into you at like 6 a.m. my time. I was like, let's watch the Pokemon. So this, we're not going to interview Pedro like normal. So I do want to say, I highly suggest getting to know Pedro's background a little bit. And the reason we're not going to do like a full on interview of like, how'd you get to Pokemon and stuff like that is you were recently on the Pittsburgh Pokemon podcast talking about your background, which was amazing. I listened to it. It was so good. So
Thank you.
I highly suggest for anyone who wants to get to know a little more about the man behind the streamer, how he got into Pokemon, an amazing story that will really make you question like if you're good at the game, because you seem like you were good as soon as you picked it up. But if you want to listen to that, go check out the Pittsburgh Pokemon podcast. Don't leave this one. Come back to this one. But go check that out on your free time as well. So we're going to get into these rapid strike questions. Pedro, I'm going to ask you as many questions as you can answer in 60 seconds. I want you to just give your answer as quickly as you can.
First try.
You'll try? All right. Are you ready?
I am.
All right. Question number 1. TV or movies?
Movies.
What toppings go on your perfect pizza?
BBQ sauce.
Chess or soccer?
European soccer, yeah, like football.
Football.
Sorry. Last song you listened to?
The One Piece intro, the anime, yeah.
Who's your favorite Pokemon?
Ninetales.
What's your favorite fruit?
Strawberries, I guess.
Would you rather be known as the best Pokemon player or the sexiest Pokemon player?
Sexiest always.
What's your least favorite deck of all time?
My favorite one?
Least favorite.
Greninja.
What's your least favorite food?
I love every kind of food. I guess I don't like anything. I just eat everything. So yeah.
If you could go to space, would you?
If I will go to any country?
Go to space, outer space. The moon,
I will
Mars.
go to Venus.
All right, and that is time.
Sorry for it's too late. I should be faster, but
No, you're you're good. You're good. You're good. Some of those are definitely meant to be meant to throw you off a little bit. Why Greninja as your least favorite deck?
I remember I played. Well, now I can answer on peace, right?
Yes, yes. Now you can.
I remember when I learned like the Thor religion, right? The Thor stuff, like consistency is the key. I start playing always decks that never break, so decks that have a lot of consistency. So one day I said, all right, let's play an elite challenge. Probably the least consistent deck in the story got is Greninja. And I remember to playing that deck against a junior with like 6-7 years old. And I was breaking, and the junior was like Empoleon break, 4 breaks, and a lot of cards that he pulled in like random boosters. He beat me because I couldn't set up. So I finished ending the series in that league challenge against a new, against a 6 years old guy because I was breaking with Greninja. So it's like, I mean, I'm never touching this deck again, and yeah. Only playing consistency deck in real life.
So does that mean you've never played Malamar?
Yeah. Malamar? Yeah. Probably Malamar's in top 3 of most hated deck too. For sure. Because it defeated me in top 4 awards to everyone that don't know.
True.
Yeah, it was the deck that kicked me on top 4 awards. So definitely Malamar's in my top 3 decks that I don't like for sure.
That's fair. That's also a very good reason to dislike a deck. I did not think of that one. So
we don't have that level of performance. We can't say this deck knocked me out of top 4 of an internationals or worlds. We haven't gotten there yet.
I mean, you don't know. You don't know. I guess you can check my Limitless page. I've not done that.
Soon.
So speaking of top 4 at Worlds, Pedro, most people probably know who you are. I feel like if they found me, they've definitely found you. But we're not going to go into your full background. But I feel like it's important to still mention who you are and a little bit about what you've done. Because, I mean, you've never won a Hegster. How good can you actually be? So what are some of your accomplishments in the TCG?
Yeah, I didn't win Hexter yet. I guess I never played Hexter tournament actually. It's too late for me. And I guess, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. In Hexter, you need to pay packs, right? To participate, probably?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't participate in that kind of tournaments, not because of Hexter. I don't have anything against Hexter. I just don't participate in tournaments that you need to do something to participate because I'm super lazy. So every time I read a tournament and I read, you need to send packs, my laziness says, no, I'm not going to. So it's nothing against Hexter. It's just I only play tournaments for free. So in real life, I was playing since like 2016 competitively. My first Worlds was San Francisco. And well, since the 2016, I almost made it too. Then I was 3 years in a row, 17, 18, no, 4 years in a row, 3 years in a row, 17, 18, and 19 Worlds. I'm one of the 2 players in the world that makes top 32 or better in the last 3 years. Only Gustavo Wad and me make top 32 or better in that 3 last Worlds. And we couldn't play the 2020 Worlds because the pandemic. So I was the first Oceania International winner in Australia, in Melbourne. That story is really cool, but too long probably, but maybe one day we can actually talk about that. Australia travel. I also become top 8 in London International. I become top 4 in Brazil International. 3 years in a row, I lost my 2 or 3 winnings in a row in the North American International to make top 8. So it's my last missing top 8 to have top 8 in the all internationals. I won the last European regional in Europe, because after that everything was standard. So the last expanded was in Germany. I didn't want to go to that tournament because some funny stuff. I booked the travel 2 days before the tournament, and I won the tournament. And yeah, I was top 4 awards playing a day that I never touched again. And I never touched before the tournament because I promised the day before. So every time I do well, is something happens, something funny happens. So yeah, mainly international winner, regional winner, top 4 awards, and so many accomplishments that people can check in Limitless website. And well, in top 15 of the championship points in the last 4 years, in the last 4 seasons, in the top 15 worlds every single last 4 years. Being from Europe, because in Europe we have like 4 tournaments all the year, and America has like 20, 30. So it's definitely hard to be in the top 10 to 15 worlds when you can only play 3-4 tournaments in your region, in Europe, because I didn't travel a lot to America to play regionals, only once, I guess. So yeah, that's what.
I've won multiple League Cups. I didn't hear you
Yeah,
mention
I was
that.
about to say I can win local.
Yeah, I won some League Cups too. I guess I have like 100 playmats probably. So.
Oh no!
Wow.
Well, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
There goes anything I had going on.
Yeah. Wow. Just completely schooled both of us.
Right.
I guess I won every type of event, if we don't count worlds, because I won international, regional, special event, League Cups, League Challenge, release, and yeah, I'm missing world one time.
One day.
Hopefully one day.
I believe, chat.
Believe, chat.
I don't think he stands a chance because I'm winning the next couple. So
No, you're not. No, stop.
You can
play
get
Coco
second.
VMAX. Get out of here. You play Coco VMAX. Stop. You play Coco VMAX.
I don't need to win worlds anymore. I don't need to win worlds anymore. It's like I'm happy with my trophy, so other people can win worlds. That's fine.
See, there you go. See,
not you, Mello. He's
no,
talking about other people.
It's destined to be me. It's destined to be me. All right. So let's get into one of our main topics for today, which is the Players Cup 4. So we've all been using our keys. I assume most people listening have been using them or are at least interested in the prospect if they haven't been using them. Let's kind of give a little bit of update on how we're doing, what we've been playing, what's been doing well, what hasn't been doing well, what we've been facing, that kind of stuff. So Pedro, let's go ahead and start with you. How have you been doing in the Players Cup 4 key tournaments? What have you been playing, etc.?
Well, I start playing. I mean, every time I play Cup, I like to play all my keys on streaming. I guess it's really funny content on Twitch because people want to watch high levels or try to, watch. Always is more funny to watch like kind of tournament or participation in a possible future tournament to qualify than just versus ladder. So every time I stream Players Cup, I guess people like it more than just a normal day. So I really like to play Players Cup, not for the tournament, because another thing I want to comment is like I'm not that motivated to play online tournaments, even if they have cash money. I think it's way different than in real life. So I play them because I have fun playing Pokemon, or at least I try, but it's not the same motivation. So the most funny part for me for Players Cup is not the tournament itself, it's the month I can stream that games because people enjoy to watch that competitive content. So it's like I really enjoy the way, even qualifying or not qualifying. So I started really well, but then I had like 10 keys in a row or 15 keys in a row, like top 8, top 8, top 8, top 4, top 8, top 8, top 8. So my average rate was at some point at like 70 points. Then after some tournaments, after some keys, I started to win more. So right now I'm in like 100 average potential points. I'm right now in like 70 points with like 30 something keys used. So, well, doing fine. I guess I can project like 90, 100 points, which should be fine. But yeah, it's funny because some people while streaming snipe me when I joined a tournament. So that's why I lost like top 8 in a row, because everyone joined it like Dragapult, Mewtwo, or Lucario Metal, because I said I will play my 50 keys with Urshifu, and that's definitely complicated matchups. And since I joined the Mimikyu anti-heal, anti-Marulana, I beat Lucario Metal every single time, right? So yeah, actually, I don't care too much about qualifying or not. Of course, I want to qualify, but I want to enjoy more the process about playing a deck that I have fun enjoying it and playing it. And if I qualify, okay, that's fine. But if I don't qualify, my life continue, and it's not really motivate to me to actually compete like in a tournament that you need to travel. So yeah, I'm doing well right now, like 70 points and 18 keys remaining or something like that.
So real quick on that one, you said Urshifu, but for anyone who doesn't know, it's not the typical like the one that Azul won the Players Cup with. How's yours different?
Yeah, so I'm playing the Chinchino version that we worked with Thor Reckless and the Limitless team for the Players Cup. Like when Azul won, Azul defeat Thor in top 4. No, sorry. Yeah, in top 4. Correct. We were working in that list after Philip Jules' idea. Philip Jules had the idea to play that kind of deck that is kind of similar to the Zoro Argolizo bot that we had some years ago. It's kind of the same feeling, of course, not the same deck because there is no N in the format, but kind of the same idea to actually hit for 1 energy to hit KO all the format if we don't count VMAXs. But you kind of to hit KO because 6 Agun and Nest, right? So, and you have a card that actually draw cards to be consistent. So after the Philip Choose idea, I tested the deck a lot. Thor didn't believe too much in the beginning, but then when Thor watched me and Philip playing the deck, Thor give a try to the deck, and then we said, okay, that's the deck Thor's gonna bring for the Players Cup. And we decided to we were testing with Thor every single day, one different person with him, to actually practice every matchup. So it's like Monday, Robin Schultz plays with Thor all the day. Tuesday, Nico Alabas. Wednesday, I play with Thor all the day. And well, we were happy for him because he made top 4 with that version in the Press Cup. So he won the Travel Award. So we were super happy. Yeah, it's a different version than Jirachi. I guess Jirachi is more offensive. It's more like Jirachi, the Dennis and Crobat to go super aggressive and go taking prizes and actually win the game kind of quick. Yeah, the version we played, like Thor playing the Players Cup that we trained, is more slow, that you actually want to be losing on purpose because you want to actually set up a ball with like double Chinchino, double VMAX at least. And then the ideal scenario is to stamp to 2 and play with the Cherils, and the opponent normally struggles to get that double boss in the stamp to 2 because your full bench is 1 price attackers and your field is like double VMAX. So to the opponent, if the opponent attacks the active, you can Cheril because you already set up the deck with the good cards in the deck, and if the opponent go boss, they need to boss twice after stamp to 2 and stamp to 1. So it's like a slow deck that you can control, and we feel is better. Well, we actually think it's the best deck in the format because if you play it correctly and well, and you draw decent, you don't draw like really bad, you draw decent, you cannot play really well a lot of opponents because we think, or at least I think, in this format, sadly, the skill doesn't matter too much like before. So we want to play a deck that the skill matters a little because longer the game it is, more options the best player has to win because if the game takes a lot of turns, and you are a better player than your opponent, you will make better plays in general than your opponent. So you will actually win every turn a little part to actually win the game. That's why we like this deck. I guess you can control really well the opponent. And well, of course, you can lose some games like stamp to 2 boss, stamp to 1 boss. You can lose that games, but at least I enjoy and you have fun with the deck while playing it, no matter the result. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that breakdown. That was actually really in depth. I like that. Nikhil, how have your keys been going?
I actually started them today. I've been like talking about like not doing them because I did my second Players Cup keys up to like 30 keys, and then I just got like tired of doing them, so I stopped. I didn't even touch my third Players Cup keys, but for this one, the format feels a little bit more enjoyable to me, which we'll talk about later. I liked it a little bit more. Gamer Allo came up with this really cool e-turn list. It's like very straightforward, nothing too crazy. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try a couple. I played 4. I lost my very first one to actually the very deck Pedro was talking about. It wasn't Pedro, but it was that deck. It was the Cinchino Urshifu. I got wiped by that. And then I won 2 in a row, which felt really cool. And then I made finals my last one. lost to another Urshifu. This was the Jirachi version. I beat like 4 peaks though, because like the Pikachu matchup's so good. One Tool Jammer is like all you need, because they throw a big charm down, you just throw a Tool Jammer, they lose. It's easy.
Nah, Peak PT turn for sure.
No chance.
And I've been running mostly Peak. I've run some Luke Metal, which has been terrible. I've just hit like that variance. And I think I'll mention this to anyone who's listening who's kind of like, oh, my keys aren't going as well as they should have. I think running the same deck for most of your keys is usually pretty good, both because you get better at it as time goes on, but you just don't. Like my Luke Metal keys, I've used 3. I hit Victini with Fan of Waves. I hit Baby Blounds with Giratina. And then I had made finals and hit a Mad Party that just, they never discarded a single energy. It was actually like, it was impressive. It was like, I'm still a little salty I lost to it, but also like, wow, that's really good. But yeah, it's like, stuff like that happens. You just hit that bad side of variance. So I definitely think running with a lot of the same deck is just like a really good idea. Yeah, I've been running Peak. I've hit a lot of Luke Metal lately, and it seems like Pedro and I are both in that same boat of like, there seems to be a lot of Luke Metal floating around these key tournaments right now. Does that, I mean, you kind of already mentioned it. You've teched for it. Do you think it's worth teching for after you see a deck a certain amount of times?
Normally depends. I mean, every time we build a deck, because I'm really bad building decks. Normally, I'm really good, I guess, testing a deck a lot and playing a deck a lot and try to find all the holes and all the stuff you got actually improve the deck list. But normally the work of making the deck list is from Thor or from Philip Schultz normally in our team group. So we have a role, everyone in the group, and I'm normally the guy who tests the most the decks and gives the ideas to actually complete a version or a build. So when I take a Thor or Philip Schultz deck list, we always try to actually put all the consistency cards, and then the open slots is like, all right, let's touch for the most popular matchups. That's why in the last weeks I'm changing my decks, my deck, like the last 2 cards, depending on the meta. So for example, I started playing like Jirachi GX because Mewtwo was really, really popular. Then Mewtwo goes down for Molo Academy Metal, being really popular. So we cut the Jirachi GX. We are close to cut the Mimikyu, and we cut the Giratina, for example, because special energies are not that popular right now because Song Eternatus is playing full basics, and if they feel Urshifu, unfortunate. So Giratina is less useless, but now Mimikyu anti-heal becomes better because the span of Luke Metals, right? So we also try to have a 55, 56 cards close that they need to be in the deck because we want the full consistency, especially in best of ones Players Cup that you never know what happens, right? You want full consistency because every win matters for at least 1 point. And we were changing like the last 2-3 cards just for the meta. So for example, if Psychic Mewtwo becomes super popular, I'm joining lately the Farfetch, that you can actually discard the Stealthy Hood with Attack of the Farfetch.
What? Wait, what does this card do?
Team up one. It's
This is the
Tool
theme
Buster.
deck one?
The team up Farfetch, we joined it in the party in the last weeks because Psychic Mewtwo plays 1-2 Hood, so you can actually hit for 90, and it's really good against Luke Academy Metal too. Because
wait, why do we want that instead of a Tool Scrapper?
Because you can't find scrappers, right?
The reason was because you cannot find Tool Scrapper or Rosa or Skyla, or you cannot find that cards to actually use them when you need it. Because if you waste a turn that the opponent has the Hood, they just destroy your Urshifu, right? So if you play Farfetch, you have like 4 Pokecom, 3 Level Ball, 4 Quick Balls, and like 4 Captures and 2 Fighting to attack the turn you want. So you can use a supporter to also find that card because you can Bearkeeper or Marnie into Farfetch and you have so many cards to find it. So it's also another Pokemon to Pokecom it. So the main reason I'm testing it is because it's easier to find attacks than the mono random Tool Scrapper, right? It's like you need that in the crucial turn. But now Psychic Mewtwo is not that popular again because Eternatus grows up in popularity again, so I cut the Farfetch again for the Jirachi. So yeah, normally we're actually changing the cards for the current meta. Yeah.
Awesome. That is actually a great example.
That's such a crazy brain power, bro.
Right?
I would never have thought of that. Yeah.
Oh, I definitely thought of that for sure.
Right.
I was just asking what the Farfetch does to, let the audience know.
For the viewers.
Yeah,
the audience.
20 plus 70 and discard a tool in the active. Yeah, something like that.
It was played in Pikarom a while ago, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's also collect, so it's actually a consistency card if you break in, right? Because
Broken.
like
That's
we
so
said in
broken.
the deck, you want to be losing, right? You want to actually give prizes on purpose to set up and then win games when you set up. So it's a really good card that you can actually Chinchino supporter plus collect, because you want to save your Urchifus and Chinchinos in the bench. And then when you actually set up, okay, then you start attacking and Marnie or start attacking and stamps, right? So it was really good. I cut the game for Jirachi, Stella Wish, but if Psychic Mewtwo will be popular, it's to consider again, yeah.
Awesome. That was a wonderful explanation on like when and how to tech your decks out, and I really like
Just
that.
got like 20 more IQ.
Right? I'm just kind of sitting here as Pedro's talking about this stuff, and it's like, Peak really doesn't have tech slots unless you cut the hammers. The hammers are broken. If I lose,
No,
I
they're
can just
not.
say I flipped all tails.
Correct.
The perfect
Exactly.
excuse.
It's your scapegoat.
Your brain your brain is always in peace because you can say, oh, I win because I'm really good, but
Yeah.
I lose because of the hammer, right? So you are always living the really nice life when you're actually playing that instead of your plays, right? It's really good.
I hate hammers. I hate them so much. I'm so upset that I'm running them. But it does make the Eternatus matchup better. I will fully acknowledge that.
Yeah, that's better.
Where else are we going with? Oh, so we've kind of already started to get to it, but I want to talk about the battle styles meta. So I think we can all kind of agree the battle styles meta has felt better than Vivid Voltage. Does anyone disagree with that?
Nope, not at all. Not a disagreement in my life.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess let's start with why. Why do we enjoy the battle styles meta more? Like, what makes it different, special, better than Vivid Voltage was? For either of
I'm
you.
gonna let the guy with the world's top 4 go first.
In my opinion, it's mainly because we have a new archetype that is actually super flexible. Like Urshifu brings up like the Chinchino version, Jirachi version, Dragapult version, even Victini VMAX, Urshifu versions, right? So it's like a new card that actually attacks for 1 energy, that actually check Eternatus and Pika. So they actually need to actually put like double Mewtwo or Stealthy Hoods for the Mimikyu against Mewtwo and stuff like that. So actually the decks are changing because the new archetype is actually really strong and actually won the Players' Cup, right? So it's actually one of the best deck in the format. For me, the best deck in the format. So actually, it's the meta is always more enjoyable when you have new cards that actually become a new meta game. Because before Battle Stars, we had like the same meta like 6 or 9 months in a row, right? Because we had the Eternatus, but after the Eternatus, Vivid Button changed nothing, only Orbital and Snorlax, but that's nothing, right? So Battle Stars bring us a new broken deck. So, and it's definitely way more fun because you can play the deck as, like I said, in multiple ways, right? You can play Octillery, you can play Jirachi, you can play Chinchino, Dragapult. So many actually interaction. So I guess that's the main reason, probably.
Is Dragapult Urshifu a real deck?
No.
Right? That's
It's Brick City, right? But you can face it. You can face the deck.
okay.
I mean, like, I think not only what Pedro said, like there's an actual new archetype out there. We didn't have one really with Vivid Voltage. I think another big thing is like, it feels really good that VMAXs are finally starting to like really be the dominant force in our format. Because like Eternatus was good, Centiskorch was good, and Dragapult were good, but they didn't feel as broken as like ADP and Pikarom did. Now like Victini, Urshifu, they really feel like the top dogs in the format, which is what you want to see. Like you want to see the new cards that are going to be your next standard be more powerful than the cards that are leaving. Because if the power cards are leaving, your next format's going to suck.
That sounds about right. Like,
yeah.
I mean, spoken to someone who's only playing big basics still, because look, not evolving feels really good. It's I really want them to stop being good. Like, I love Peak. I'm always gonna love Peak, but like, gosh,
it's gotta go.
Yeah, let's force stuff to evolve. It feels like it's so much more thoughtful, especially. Okay, I hate Eternatus for this reason. I like decks that give you these options, and Urshifu is very much one of those decks, which feels nice because it also forces your opponent to think, like, no matter what they're playing, because you have Gmax Rapid Flow, which is going to do that spread damage. And so now you suddenly have to think, well, my opponent can smack me hard, or they can spread to set up math, and then they can't get stamped as low. So it's like, it's just all these different options which feel really, really good versus, Eternatus was the old best VMAX. And you couldn't even misclick with it. Like, that's how easy that card is to pilot. Like, you just dread end for 270.
There's one misclick. There's one misclick Eternatus players can make, and it's when your VMAX dies and you gotta pick the ones to discard. I did that. I've done that where you click the Pokemon you want to promote and it gets discarded. And you're like,
oh, I guess. That's a really common misclick too.
It does feel good. That happened to me in a key, and they scooped immediately, and it was just like, all right, cool, let's go. I'll take the free dub. Yeah, I like Urshifu's feel like it's added stuff, and Mewtwo meta also feels like it's added things. Like less E-turn has meant Mewtwo's been good, in addition to hitting Urshifu for weakness. I like Mewtwo deck. Like, they just give you options. They force you to play around stuff. They force your opponent to do things properly. And all of that feels good. Like, instead of just going fill bench, dread end for 270, you have to decide, like, well, am I going to use Calming Hurricane? Am I going to power up for the full Tropical Hour GX to shuffle everything back? Am I going to use Buzzmosis attack? Like, that's Relish. There's other Mewtwo decks out there too, but it's just, it requires
a good point. Like, that's another thing about the Mewtwo decks is, like, it's not just the Welder one anymore. There's the Welder one with just fire. There's the Welder one with Aurora. There's the Pikarom one. There's the grass one. So, like, there's a psychic one. So now there's, like, it's not just one core Mewtwo deck. We're actually seeing Mewtwo evolve into different forms because of the new cards that are coming with it. Like, that's so cool to me.
For Worlds, quick aside, for Worlds 2019 is my first Worlds and the first one post rotation. I spent a heck of a lot of time working on Fairy Mewtwo, which never caught on, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see that Mewtwo's finally really reaching its potential after all we've ever really had is Welder Mewtwo, which, I mean, I did well with. I enjoy that deck. And then Malamar Mewtwo. And then eventually, Pedro and Torres brought us Lightning Mewtwo. And then finally, Relish came out. I was like, all right, Mewtwo's doing stuff now.
Now we got the Jirachi GX engine with the Psychic Energies, which is super cool too.
Ooh, and we can't forget Ultimate Mewtwo. Henry Brand's Soul Burst GX.
Like pure special energy Mewtwo,
That was fun. That was a fun one. Yeah, I'm a bit Mewtwo focused meta feels fine. Especially when you have stuff like Urshifu can still body Mewtwo.
Mimikyu is such a stopping force for Mewtwo decks, right? You got to play around that.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the reasons why Mewtwo meta feels fine. You can literally, if you're playing nets, you're like, all right, Zigzagoon, Mimikyu, and then they have to play Hood, and then they're hurting their already inconsistent engine, which is just
and then Farfetch appears.
I would definitely give a shocked face if my opponent dropped a Farfetch'd on me. I want to see, someone has to listen to this podcast and bring a Farfetch tech in Urshifu after this and do well with it.
Yeah.
So let's think about battle styles then, though, overall. So we know it's better. We agree it's better. We've talked about a bit why Urshifu, good and unique. But what about in the overall grand scheme of things? We're all generally happy right now because we haven't had a good format in a while. Darkness Ablaze was actually pretty good. No, not Darkness. No. Rebel Clash.
Rebel
Clash format was pretty good. The Dragapult, Combo Zacian.
Yeah.
Mostly Peak. Peak was the BDIF then. People just didn't want to play Peak. But then before that, we had ADP versus Mill the whole time. Yep. So it's been a while since we've had something that was like, felt really good. Is this a format that's like, people will remember fondly? Or is this, we've currently are just, this is the best we've had, so we're happy? Like, what do you think between those two? And it might lie somewhere in between, of course. But where do we think this lies in the grand scheme of the history of the game?
So, in my opinion, this meta being most enjoyable doesn't mean the meta is funny or good. I mean, that's my opinion, of course. I can feel people enjoying the format or people enjoying this standard, but when I play Zoroark in the past, or I play another format with N in the format, everything that is not N or Zoroark, you feel like missing something, right? So having ADP in the format and in the future Sword and Shield On, having Victini VMAX in the format is going to be kind of the same than ADP because there is no stamps in Sword and Shield On and Victini kills everything turn 2.
No.
So I think this standard format is bad for the good players. Like, I'm not enjoying the format. It's better, but I'm not enjoying it. And I guess the crucial change, in my opinion, was the release of Sassian. Like, Sassian should probably never been released because before Sassian, the meta, like you said, was beautiful. Like, ADP was better with Keldeo. Well, it's a good deck, but it's not the same because you are slow. Charizard was really good. Pika was really good. Like, we had insane deck. But now, since the release of like Sassian and Marnie, these 2 cards destroyed everything, in my opinion. So, for example, I guess it was a coincidence, but when the pandemic started and in real life events were canceled, it was exactly the time that Sassian and Marnie and stuff was released. So sometimes I think, okay, I miss playing in real life events. I miss playing competitively, but then I think, I don't know if this year that happened after the pandemic, because we are more or less in 1 year right now, 1 year something, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if I actually will enjoy to play that tournaments in real life because Sassian and Marnie and ADP doesn't makes the game enjoyable because sometimes it's like if you face ADP and you have a one not decent turn, you already lose the game. You cannot come back, you cannot play, you cannot do anything. And that shouldn't be like that the game is over in 3 turns. So I guess the meta was really good. Well, it was decent, but then when Sassian and Marnie got released and no N in the format to come back, I'm not enjoying the format, and I don't think people will remember this format like one of the good ones, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, this won't fall into like 10 years down the line if it still exists, this game. I don't think it'll fall into a format like 2017 NEIC or 2010 or like those kind of formats. Those are always going to be looked on fondly because they were really fun formats. But like I think Pedro hit it with the nail on the head. Marnie, Zacian, and even Boss to an extent now, having Gust Effect with a way to instantly get it back with Quick Ball, with Eldegoss, and then Victini VMAX on top of that. It's like, it's fun right now because the last 6 months were just the same basically. But in the long run, especially with Calyrex coming out next set, which worries me because that basically creates 2 rock paper scissors triangles: the E-turn Urshifu and Calyrex, and then it's Victini, Zacian decks, and the other Calyrex. So it's just 2 circles of rock paper scissors, which like that worries me because then the format is just matchup dependent and it doesn't feel as much as skill based. And that's exactly what I think Pedro said. Like, it feels bad for the players like him at that level where he's so good, but if the game ends in 3 turns, it doesn't matter how good you are. The game ended in 3 turns, right?
You neglected to mention Coco.
I'm not talking about Coco Mello.
All right, Coco stands above the rest. Oh, that is something. So I guess this is a future format, but something that, I mean, both of you have really mentioned. But the talk about the Sword and Shield On formats, there's no hand disruption besides Marnie. And I played in one of those tournaments, and that worries me so much. Like, I started playing before N rotated briefly, but like N was still in, so I learned how to play with N. And then whatever Sun and Moon to Lost Thunder and all that stuff was, that was fine. That was fine. And then Reset Stamp came out, and it was like, all right, sick. Throw it in Pikarom, Tandem Shock Stamp, we're good to go. I'm curious how it's going to play out, where Marnie is the only hand disruption. There's no N, there's not even Reset Stamp. It's just like, you get 4 cards. I hope they're not good. And Judge, yes. Sorry. You can judge them as well.
It feels like Let Loose again. It feels like the power Let Loose had when it was standard. Because like, just Let Loose turn 1 your opponent. It's going to feel similar to Marnie now. Because at least with like N and Stamp, like N was, I think, one of the best hand disruption cards because it also forced you to shuffle your hand. So if you were at like 3 prizes left, you didn't get to keep a big hand and like play off your opponent having 2 cards. You had to, play around that. But like, Let Loose turn 1 or Marnie going second if your opponent just goes attach pass, it's not going to be fun.
No, not at all. And the Victini mention was also another good one that, like, I know it because I played a fair amount of Victini, but like I never remember it. But the amount of game, like the reason I don't play Victini anymore because it's not fun. You literally just go attach, pass, attach, evolve, boss. I win. And it's just like, yeah, those decks aren't enjoyable. Anyway, this format, I would tend to agree. I don't think it's going to go down anywhere near an all-time great. I think it's good in the fact that it's diverse. I think this will stay one of the more diverse formats we're going to have for a while, and I'm pretty sure Shadow Rider plus Trevnor is going to make the next format less diverse, because now you have to have a deck that plays off the board instead of a deck that can play out of their hand or combo based or stuff like that, because I mean, you can't just get Marnie Trevnord. Like, it's disgusting. I played enough Mewtwo Malamar to know you just win games if you do that.
That's crazy, Strum. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross. So, like, I think that is one of the positives of this format. With that said, Pedro mentioned this, and I know, Nikhil, you probably feel the same way. The Celestial Storm format is fine. It was pretty good.
Cosmic Eclipse.
Oh, bro, I always get those two confused. Celestial Storm
I
format
do agree
sucked.
with you.
Anyone who did well in that format, it didn't count. Rayquaza, trash. Cosmic Eclipse format. It was like, it's going to be between those two as far as like what is the good enough format from this era. And I think Cosmic Eclipse was better.
Yeah.
Because like you had decks.
That one was a little bit more enjoyable.
You had decks that played out of their hand like Roxy Chomp, which was really unique. You had whatever the heck Malamar was. It was like spread-ish. You had Peak. You had Control. Was good, but not overbearing. You had Dollstall, which...
Greens Blounds.
Greens Blounds. Greens Zard.
You had Greens decks.
Yes.
That's a huge thing. Like, Greens decks being top tier was so crazy to me.
It was also really fun how, for example, when I played ADP Keldeo that season a lot, the game actually, it was an ADP but slower version, so actually the skillful matters, because I remember, for example, when you face like Mewtwo, you GX for one metal so that your Keldeo can actually 140 KO Mewtwo, and then you put double Keldeo in play. So if the opponent go Greninja, you need to save all your resources to go Malulana spamming against Greninja. So double Keldeo actually can beat that Mewtwo deck, because they always kill ADP. But if you GX for one, your game plan was like Keldeo Water Pass, Water 140, and if they hit with Greninja, that is the only out, you Marulana, then one Keldeo can go down, but then you Marulana, and if you can even have the option to go Girafarig, discard the Greninja, and you auto win the Mewtwo. So it was really cool because...
you played two Greninja was the play in that format.
Yeah. it was funny because the games were like super long, and actually you need to save resources. Now it's like attach ADP, Intrepid Sword, and then Sassy and whisk the game into turns. But before, you actually need to attach pass, stamp. It was definitely a different way to play ADP. What definitely I enjoyed it most than now that is like YOLO random. Yeah.
That was such a fun matchup. Now that you mention it, like, because it's like I remember the matchup, but I was the Mewtwo player. I was not the ADP player. I don't like ADP. It's never been fun regardless. So I was like, yeah, let's play Mewtwo. But it was like Mewtwo hit 300 on turn 2. Like, that deck shouldn't involve thought ever. But that specific matchup, it did, because, okay, I played the tag call version of Mewtwo as well. So it's like I also have my 2 Malolanas. And I legitimately played 2 Greninja. Which,
you win the match.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But it was a fun matchup because it was like, all right, UGX, I KO you. But then
the game is like a stamp, Marulana, who wins the Marulana, who wins the stamp. Yeah.
Yeah. So it involves some level of thought versus now ADP GXs, and
then you win.
Yes. Metal Saucer still exists. Like, Mawile to fill your bench, and then the Mawile KOs a Dedenne or a Heatran. It's like, oh.
Mawile was like a $2 card at most. When I remember someone pulled 3 Rainbow Rares from Cosmic, or from...
I was the first who played Mawile in real life, so I'm so sorry.
That was you at OCIC, right?
Yeah, we played OCIC and Malmo in March, and yeah, now Mawile.
So when
really funny when you go second and the opponent Mawile, you're the Den and Crobat, and you say, yo, that's a really skillful game, you know?
So you did play Mawile, and I net decked your list, and the one time I played ADP was with a Mawile. So I know why I used it, but I'm just not sure if I used it wrong or not. Was it in your deck as like just the one thing that could attack every turn? Were you trying to Captivating Wink? Were you
It
trying
was
to?
for the CDY. It was for the CDY matchup. Your GX, they never. I mean, in real life, they don't know your list, so your GX, you give prize on purpose, and then the opponent has 20 cards in hand. You Mawile, you bench 4 Pokemon, and then you win.
Okay, so Obstagoon,
I mean,
because I was pre-scoop up
yeah,
that.
yeah. Sorry, Obstacle. Yeah,
No, you're
sorry.
good. You're good.
It's like
And I-
1 in the morning for you.
I also play Super Scoop Up, so I can Mawile so many times.
Wait, you played a coin flip card.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why
wow.
17, the karma. I got 17 in that regional. I played 4 catcher and 3 scoop ups or something like that.
Wait, Pokemon catcher, not custom catcher?
I play custom catcher, Pokemon catcher, and scoop ups.
Wow.
I didn't net deck your list apparently.
And then Mawile, so I remember I lost one game in that regional by being I needed 1 heads to win, and all my catchers were tails, and I lost that game. Yeah. So I learned a lesson.
Is this why you hate Crushing Hammer now?
Yeah, I learned a lesson to not play anymore. At least, in the non-control decks, at least.
I love the difference. If I got 17th at an international, I'd be like, I'm only playing coin flips. This is the best thing in the world. Pedro's like, oh, I only got 17th. This is not good. That's actually like, I didn't know that. That's ridiculous to hear because it's you are always a like no coin flip person. I understand why now. If it bits you that hard, then I understand why you wouldn't want to.
But it was funny. That tournament was funny. It was all the time flipping a dice. It was like catcher, scoop up. The opponent was like, stop, please.
It's not on the topic list, but superstitions. You're playing coin flips. Do you change your coin if you have a game where you flip too many tails? Or if you flip a bunch of heads, do you like hold that dice like forever? Like you make sure you don't leave your sight. Like, are you that type of superstitious?
In the game, people that know me in real life, I'm one of the most superstitious people or players in the game. Like crazy. For example, before the game starts, I need my prizes in the correct position. I need my dices in the correct position. So the people that actually know me before the game starts, they move my dices, and then I become super nervous, for example, because they know I struggle if everything is not in peace. So talking about the dices, I remember when I won my first regional in like 2016 with 6 minutes of Giratina hammers. I had a dice that was really good. It was like I'm feeling super confident because so many hits. So I was always with that dice really happy. Then I lost the dice one day, so I was sad. It was like Plasma Blast Elite Trainer Box dice. I will never forget. I mean, it was of course lucky because it's like the official dice. And then I remember in Malmo, when I played in Malmo all the coin flips, I just took a random dice, like this one, for example. Like I don't know, it was for Biden Light, I guess, like a little Trainer Box dice, and I flew so many tails. So I said myself to the tournament, okay, I'm never using these dice anymore. But there was no more tournaments anymore after that. So, but yeah, I'm super superstitious, and it happens with sleeps. It happens with like, for example, that's a funny joke. Well, not funny joke, funny fact. When I played chess, because I played chess for like 20, 25 years. Every time I lose an important finals or important tournament playing chess, I never bring that shirt again for a tournament. So after like 20 years playing, I open my how do you say in English? The
closet.
Yeah. And it was like, all right, I have like 50 shares, but I can only bring these 2 because the other 48 I already lost. Yeah, so it's like superstitious things. So in Pokemon, it's kind of the same with the dressing, with the superstitious things, with like the game, the sleeps, a lot of things. But I mean, working for me and my mental is fine, I guess. But yeah, superstitious a lot for sure.
So you wear a limitless jersey at regionals and stuff, right? Or do you wear different?
Yeah, when I need to go for like the official, I need to go with official. I cannot change that. But before Limitless, for example, it was like, all right, this is the lucky shirt, this is the lucky shoes, this is the lucky whatever, So then when I need to be going with this all the time, okay, I need to bring that. And then the dress is like less important when I am in a team. But I continue being with like the dices, the sleeves, the color. the rituals I do before and after the game. So many stuff that is better that you should know.
No secrets.
You will maybe think Pedro is crazy. So yeah.
I actually have one superstition like that, and it's not even for competitive play. Actually, it's for my friend's cube, because we have it's me and 3 of my friends who always play this cube, and there's a ton of bragging rights involved because we're really close. It's a Nick Bailey Open die. Natalie Champagne in 2017, the Nick Bailey Open, they gave out dice, and my friend who owns the cube, he carries this dice with him, and the 6 is a cancer ribbon, and so anytime I need to flip heads in that cube, I always reach for that dice. I've never flipped tails with that dice when I need to. The only time I flip tails is calling the coin flip, or like on a very obscure card I don't care about. Like those are the only times I've ever flipped tails. Otherwise, heads. It's all the time. It's crazy.
I'm trying to think of superstitions. I'm the exact same way in that every single game I start with the exact same movements. Like I always lay my prizes out the same way. I always lay my dice out the same way and all that. But like, I wonder what would happen if that got disrupted. Now you have me thinking, like, would I start to get nervous if like I did it the wrong way and like something felt off or not? Because like it's never gone wrong because no one touches my stuff, right? I don't have people trying to beat me because I'm not that good, unlike Pedro.
Yeah, one day in real life, I will tell you all the stuff struggle. Well, not a struggle, just superstition in real life. You will be surprised for sure.
Tell me so that way when we play each other, I can like mess with them so I can have a chance. Otherwise, I'm not winning.
Especially in local league cups, it's like I need to forget all my superstition things because everyone disrupt me. So it's like in local league cups, some people know me, and it's like they know what they need to do to, not focus my brain.
That's so good. Okay, that was an aside, but that was a good one. So we have some questions from chat here, and quite a few. Anyone in Twitch chat right now, if you would like to ask a question on the podcast, remember that you can do that redeeming channel points. Anyone listening on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, etc., if you ever want to ask a question on the pod, you can always show up live and do it, or leave it in the comment section. And if it's on YouTube, I'll find it. Spotify have a comment section? It doesn't. Good. Okay, because I don't know where to find it if it did. But you can leave it in the YouTube comment section or like DM me as well, and we can always ask it on the next pod. Obviously, it's too late for this one. We're already recording. All right. So Professor Elm asks, specifically for Pedro, this is rude. I could have answered this question. What was your thought process on choosing Rayquaza for Worlds 2018?
That story is really good. I can be 1 hour talking this, but I will try to resume it kind of quickly. We were testing in Norway. Thor invited all the Limitless team 1 month at his home because he can. So we were like 1 month in Norway in his house testing for Worlds. Limitless and friends and Thor friends. We were testing Solar versions mainly, right? Solar Garbodor, Solar Lycanroc, Solar everything. And we were testing against Rayquaza, Greninja, stuff like that. So then we were also playing Solar. They were also in Solar Garbodor, who won the tournament with Robin. And I was in Solar Lycanroc because I thought I'm a person, I need to test a lot to become really good with one deck, or that's what I feel, that I need to test a lot to actually feel comfortable. So Solar Garbodor, that time in the past, I didn't feel that well enough to pilot the deck perfectly. Maybe I will be able to actually do it now, but 2-3 years ago, I didn't feel that well to pilot this deck that really good. So I was more comfortable with Solar Lycanroc, so that was my pick for that Worlds because it was more aggressive and I knew more the deck because I played the deck a lot before the Worlds, in the same season. So I was with Solar Lycanroc then. The day before Worlds, day 1, we were like 12 Spanish people on day 1. My brother, his first year master, with like 15 years old, he was playing Rayquaza on day 1. And I mean, I didn't expect he to make it too, because he's good. He was like top 4 at international, top 8 international. He won a lot of good tournaments and stuff. But his first year master in the first Worlds Masters, I thought, okay, he will try, but sounds hard. Well, he started losing the first round, I guess. So, well, in the last 2 rounds, there were like only 2 Spanish still competing for day 2. And my brother was like 5-2 or something like that, or stuff like that. So he became being the only Spanish player, because I was in day 2 automatically. So he was the only Spanish player in the winner inning, and he was playing Rayquaza, and he was facing Gardevoir, what in theory is a bad matchup because Gardevoir one hit KO for you for 180, the stage 2 Gardevoir GX. Just one hit KO for 180, and it has 230 HP. So I didn't thought he will make it too. So that night of day 1, for some reason, someone in the sky told me, if your brother make day 2, you need to both play Rayquaza at day 2. Like the brothers playing Rayquaza day 2 with the same deck. So for some reason, I said to myself, or someone in the sky, maybe Arceus, told me that my brother surprisingly won against Gardevoir, so he made it 2 at Worlds. So at like 10 p.m. that night of day 1, with Sora like an already sleep it, I said to my Spanish friends, I need a Rayquaza deck because I don't have cards for 2 decks. I have cards for my brother, but I don't have cards for me. So a Spanish friend that actually was kicked out in day 1, he borrowed me his Rayquaza deck. And I never played Rayquaza before, only in the testing, but it was like nothing. But yeah, so something told me, or someone told me, I will never know, but I needed to play that deck with my brother in day 2. So then I talked with like Fabian Pujol, Mehdi Hafi, and Fran Persic from America. They had a broken list with Puzzle of Time. So I said, yo, I believe in you. I will play that list. So I built a deck at midnight before day 2. And my friends of the room, they told me like, let's play the deck. Let's test the deck. I was like, no, I'm going to play the deck for the first time, my first round at Worlds, day 2. So I sleep the deck. I sleep. And the day 2, my brother was not in the list of day 2, was not in the pairing. So he come to me like super, almost crying, super worried about I'm not in day 2, but I won I stand up for my table, for my round. I said to my opponent, sorry, I need to leave 1 second. And I talked with the judge because my brother was like 15 years old. He didn't know what to do, the language and stuff like that, right? So I said, did you write the result correctly? Because maybe he messed it up or something. So yeah, the judge said it was their fault. They messed it up. For some reason, they didn't add my brother into day 2. So they give a bye because they didn't want to reshuffle the entire round. So I was like, imagine that situation that I actually focus and prepare for that tournament for like a year. You need to be like mentally prepared, super focused and stuff. And before the first round, I was actually super ultra nervous for my brother. So my focus concentration was over, everything was over because I was worried about him. And he was almost crying. So then I come like 10 minutes later to my round. So I maybe get a game loss probably. So then I talk with the judges, I talk with my opponent, and they said, don't worry, we will give you an extra 10 minutes time.
Mhm.
And round 1, I faced the guy. So I played Rayquaza for my first time after playing Sora for all the season. And the first round, I faced the guy that I finally faced in top 4 later at Worlds, the Malamar guy. Against that Malamar guy, because it was my first time playing the deck, I remember attaching an energy with ability, and 1 second later said, oh, sorry, I want to touch the lightning, not the grass. And he said, no, you can't, because you already put it. I was like, bro, it's like 1 second, and then changing the grass for the lightning. No, you put the grass. I said, okay. He destroyed me in like 10 minutes. He was like the nervous, the first deck, the rude acted. Well, I mean, it's not rude, it's fine because it's my fault, but
Yeah.
when that doesn't change in 1 second, it normally say, yeah, it's fine, don't worry. So it was so many things at the same point, and I was destroyed in like 10 minutes.
Mhm.
So I was thinking all the day why I'm not playing Zoroark, because with Zoroark I will destroy Malamar, right, in theory. But yeah, after that, I become top 4. So that's the start of the story of how I play that deck. There is more stories about that wars, but that's the main thing that why I played Rayquaza. Yeah.
Save that for part 2. The return of Pedro.
Yeah, we will be asking you back at some point. but it is such a good one. Slapjacks13
Oh, this
asks,
guy.
what is everyone's least favorite deck to play against in any format? I will start. 2019, starting at Worlds, the like post rotation and beyond, Spelltag Malamar. Not because it was broken, but because it was just so annoying. And it was just like Distortion Door, Shadow Impact, Distortion Door, Shadow Impact, Distortion Door over and over again. And that Worlds, I played against three or four of them in day one. And it was just like, why did you bring Malamar to Worlds? I beat most of them.
A lot of people did.
But it was just like, it was just annoying to play against. I hated that deck. And it was so mindless. When you played a good person, it was terrifying. But the people who just spammed the Giratina, that's not how you play it. Just stop and try something else, please. I hated playing against that deck with a passion.
Probably. I think it was referred to as Broken Vor. It was just straight Gardevoir, but it played like 4 max potions. I hated that. It was like Crimson Invasion form. Oh, I hated that deck so much because Gardevoir had so much HP in that format, nothing could one-shot it, right? So you'd have to like punch it, and then they heal all of it and spam like 4 energies on board, and then just kill you. And you're like, what was the point of playing this game? I hated that deck with a passion. Oh man.
I would probably say the same than Melo. I mean, I wanted to say the same than Melo, but because Melo already said, probably this next deck. I would say probably standard ADP Sassian. I guess my mom, if I give my mom ADP Sassian and we play a matchup, even if my mom doesn't know the rules, she probably beats me like 5 out of 10 games against whatever deck I bring. So it's kind of annoying to face a new player or someone that actually does the worst play ever and still beat you because they draw decent, so they can actually misplay with no punishment, and they can just GX boss with no effort and no thinking process. So that's kind of annoying, especially being, I mean, I don't like to say I'm a good player, but especially being a pro player, it's really annoying when you face someone that you know they're misplaying every single turn, or you know they just Intrepid Sword 3 metals, or you know they just did an Acrobat when they already had attachment and play a supporter, so they are betching cards for no reason because they are shining in their hand, and they still beat you because they just need to attach GX and boss, right? So that's probably super annoying, especially for good players, I would say.
Can't disagree with that one. I've never played against Broken Vor, so I don't know if I can agree or disagree with that.
No, don't even try. It's so stupid.
That's before my time. Seemingly that's good. I don't know. The Gyroscope Eevee asks, what is your favorite one of card you have ever used in a tournament? I'm going to start real quick. Nope, I'm going to start.
Nope, Pedro.
I'm here too. Portland Regionals, Resetting Whole Marshadow, and Expanded Zoro Garb. The amount of Buzzwole players that I red knuckled for like 3 to 4 prizes before they finally took it out. That card was so broken. Single-handedly beat Baby Buzzwole. It was so good. All right, Pedro. Hope that was enough time to think.
Yeah, I was thinking about one card. Online, I will say for sure Hop. Playing Playska with Hop.
I forgot.
That was really funny. Actually, give me some games that I didn't want to Marne because my opponent was breaking, and I didn't want to research because my hand was really good. So actually, I won so many rounds because drawing 3 cards and continue having a really good state of the board. So definitely line, I would say Hop for sure. I need to prepare something like that for the PC4 if I qualify. So if I qualify, I need to make another
Swordbird and Shieldbird. That's your card.
Not Opal.
Yeah.
Give this man coin flips.
I definitely need to prepare a card like that for PC4 to hype the people. In real life, I'm thinking about the tech, but I guess instead of saying tech or one-offs, I will say decks. Like I bring Meganium stage 2 with like 7 stage 2 in one deck, and I make top 128 in a regional and make 40 championship points. I play Shedinja, a deck that costs like $15. I made $500 with the deck, and
That was you and your like who? Okay, if there, this might be too long. You are the person responsible for putting Shedinja on the world, right? Or are you just the one who did the best with it? Like you and your group?
I guess we played like 4 or 5 people, and I was the best probably.
Like, did you invent the deck, or did your group invent the deck? I mean,
I guess I don't remember correctly, but I guess was Thor who invented the deck.
okay,
Like
so we'll
it was
blame
me
him.
because, as I said, I'm really bad doing deck lists from zero. That's a really good work for Thor and Philip normally. So I don't remember that, but I guess was Thor. Almost 100% was Thor. The creator. And he was almost close to play with me, but he decided to play Pika. But yeah,
Good choice.
I enjoyed the Pika, but I wanted to be famous, and it's like, all right, I mean, famous, like I want to play a deck that people
That's
say I
notable,
was
right?
placing a tournament, and I made top 64, and it was really funny because day one, no one knew how the deck works, so I got so many wins because of that. Day two, I faced so many players that they already researched day one how to play against Shedinja. So I lost to Diogo Siraga, I lost to Sander Pero, I lost to really good players that they are good, and they knew the night of day one how to play against me if they want to face me in day two. That's why my day two wasn't that great, but it still was really good for make top 64. And with a $15 deck, I won $500 and the fame.
That's pretty
So yeah,
good.
instead of Tech, probably Dex, right? Really happy to play Meganium 7. Stage 2, really happy to play Shedinja in an international tournament. Really happy to play decks like that in like big tournaments, yeah.
Oh, Bob McDougal asks. I read the question and I was like, this isn't a question at all, but yeah, it is. What Pokemon would you be most excited to see get a card?
Any Absol. I don't know if chat knows this, but I collect Absols like religiously. I have 600 Guardians Rising, Roaring Skies, and Team Up Absol combined, and then I have one of every Absol in existence as well. So any Absol card, I'll take it.
Yeah. For me, 90s, we haven't really broken 90s cards like the Team Up 90s. I was really happy to play in Wars 2019, my favorite Pokemon, and make top 2 in Wars with it. So 90s V is not that great. It's really good in Aurora Box, but not that great. But I would be really happy if 90s would be like a broken top 3 decks at some point. What probably was in 2019 with the Regisar 90s Welder Box. So yeah, I would say 90s always. I always want to play my favorite Pokemon in a card print.
I want another single prize Gyarados. Not like the Distilled Blast one sucks. Like there's literally no thought in that deck. But like after playing 2010, and then there's the 2016, I think it is.
2017, yeah.
2017 Gyarados.
The revenge, or the one that does damage counters, right? Based on damage counters.
Yeah, with the Team Magma base, and
yeah,
those decks are so much fun. I really want to play one of those for real. Like it's just baby Blounds, because it's just like you're sequencing and you're playing solitaire against yourself. But I love Gyarados, and I really want to be able to play one of those, and I hope they do it again. Professor Poke asks, what is your opinion on the Evolution VMAXs? So I don't know if either of you have seen the Evolution VMAXs and have any initial thoughts on them.
I mean, I know the Umbreon ones, like the old Guardians Rising Lycanroc, is Bloodthirsty Eyes again. Other than that, I can't really tell you what they do.
That's the one I know as well, and I'm in the same. It's Luxray level X. It's Lycanroc's Bloodthirsty Eyes. It's a good ability. It has to be a good card. Like, it might not be broken,
I'll give the same opinion I give for everything. I don't really form an opinion on a card until like I can play games with it, because it's so hard for me to like visualize like how good a card in the next set's going to be until I can start testing it against everything else that it's going to be up against. Because nothing's really flushed out for the first like 2 weeks of the format existing. So like, I'm not even going to say that this card is broken, because it might not be. Who knows?
Is that why you don't like Coco?
Yep, I hate Coco with a passion.
Pedro, have you seen him? Have any thoughts?
Well, like people know me they watch my streaming, they know that I'm struggling to actually learning and reading cards of standard format that they released like 3 years ago or 2 years ago. I'm still struggling sometimes to read new cards. Like we said, new card, and it's actually not a new card. So yeah, I almost never read the cards that they're gonna be released. I learn the cards when I actually play against them. But I was told Umbreon, yeah, was gonna be looks like really good because like the Kuzma ability, got like Lysander ability, and I was told like Jolteon looks good too. I guess it was like for 2 energies, hit 100, 100 or something like that.
That sounds.
But yeah, I need to read. I need to read more cards because I always struggle and learn the cards while playing. But yeah, I guess like I was told like Umbreon feels like the best in the theory, and then we will see if they actually gonna get played.
Right.
This question's for Pedro. Mellow Magikarp asks, when can I be on Team Limitless?
Well, I can tell you how I joined Limitless.
Ooh, wait, actually, that's a cool story. Let's listen to that instead.
Because, yeah, I guess from Spain, I'm the only one who actually competes for real because we have a lot of good players in Spain, but they play the game more for fun and they don't travel too much. So I always travel like alone or with like European friends, but not a lot of Spain guys. Like only sometimes to a regional, but I'm the only guy from all the country who actually travel and compete for real and seriously. So I was always alone in all the travels, especially with my mom, because my mom traveled with me almost every time. So I was doing well at tournaments. One day Philip Schultz asked me like, "We know you. It looks like you're a really good player. You look like a really nice person. Would you like to actually try and join our team because you look like a really good guy and we want to actually include you in the team because looks like a really good person, nice guy." And yeah, I was super surprised because I didn't know them because I only knew them because they were really good at the game. So when they talked to me, I was like super happy, and yeah, it was like that. I guess it was Philip asked me like, "Pedro, we will be happy if you actually want to join us because looks a new guy, a nice guy." So I guess to join Limitless, it's really important your attitude, it's really important your high level. It's really important to actually a lot of things more than results or success is more like how you are as a person, right? Because you can be a good player or pro player, but your attitude and how you are in real life actually helps more because you don't want to have people that actually are kind of toxic or kind of in social medias actually annoying or stuff like that. So always cool to be in a team with really cool people. And I guess to apply, you need to probably ask Lydia, what is the manager of the team. So you can actually try ask Lydia. Lydia probably will get you an answer with the yes or no.
Got it. So I'm going to start sucking up to both Philip and Lydia. I can do
You're
that.
fired.
Sounds like a plan.
On a serious question, Hayden Snorlax Bro asks, if you, and I have a feeling I know what the answer is going to be, but we'll still ask it. If you were to choose to reprint a card for the current standard format, what would it be?
And I think, and I don't think I'd say anything else. Maybe like, I don't want Leyland format. Probably N.
Pedro?
I wanted to say N, but because N is already said, I would say Zoroark. Because, well,
We've
I
seen
mean,
Chino. What more do you want?
Yeah, because Zoroark need double colorless. Yeah, I would say like the Zoroark season, the Zoroark package, like that you a card that you can actually attack and draw cards. It's probably not the same, but yeah, I will definitely say N. But
yeah,
if we don't have N, I will say cards that actually you need to think and enjoy while playing your decisions and not just spam the cards in the table.
I would also say N. I feel like every competitive player I've talked to ever has
Such a
enjoyed
fun
N.
card.
Yeah. There's a reason every retro format that people like has Rocket's admin legal in it. It's a good card. Mystery Beardman asks, what is your favorite Pokemon card based just off of artwork? I'll start. Oh wait, I don't know the set. I shouldn't have started. There is an alternate art Gyarados EX that has a Greninja and a Manaphy on it.
Breakpoint.
There we go. Breakpoint secret rare, I think, Gyarados EX. Favorite card. I absolutely love it. That's what got me into collecting. I saw it and I was like, wait, this is sick. This has all the Pokemon and the Gyarados is shiny. And then from there, I found like the J-Wits videos and I eventually got into competitive, but that card got me back into Pokemon cards. So that's my number one.
I would probably say my two favorite ones. Ninetales base set, because my favorite Pokemon is a beautiful card in my opinion, because the whole of that time, the first set of the story, so Ninetales base set, and I would say the big triple from Jungle, because that card puts me at the situation I am right now. Without that card and the story behind that card, I would probably not be playing Pokemon today. So yeah, that's it.
I'd say either the Lugia Legend. I love how that card looks, or I have a huge love for the Arcanine from Sun and Moon Base. It has like this really cool, like it's like on the island in Alola, and it's got this really nice hollow pattern. I've always loved that artwork. I think whoever did that card was like spot on, or the only Bonsly card in existence in English. If anyone knows, you know.
Insomniac asks, post rotation, do you expect Hammer to see just as much play as it sees now? I am basing purely off the Sword and Shield format stuff I've seen so far. The answer feels like yes, but we are getting Melanie and Shadow Rider, which both accelerate energy, which makes me think it's too early to tell, personally. I don't know if anyone disagrees or agrees.
Yeah, I guess with the new set, I guess the hammers will be less popular. But I guess hammer will be like the least problem of the format, because 15 accelerated energy with spreading flames. Winning the coin flip looks like a win if you just Victini Fire turn to boss, no matter what, because you just want to kill all the format with not a single effort. So hammers feels like the less of the problems right now with the format is coming. I guess that's the problem. We're probably gonna be winning the coin flip if no stamp release or no battery bench release, because if you face Urshifu and you go second, they can just must rapid flow your baby things if you don't play a V deck, for example. So yeah, still early, but I will say it's not gonna be a big problem in the new format. It's probably gonna be Victini, boss, no hand disruption at the beginning.
Vinman asks, I think I know the answer to this one, but you can disagree with me if you want. Vinman asks, best Mally variant, and I would say in the binder.
Don't blame yeah.
I've played a good amount of Mally, and I've played against a good amount of Mally. So, and I mean, Mewtwo Malamar just seemed like crazy strong when like it was like a good deck in its format. I think Mewtwo Mally probably, but yeah, probably Mewtwo Mally.
That's a good one. I got sauced in Limitless Qualifier 1 in day 2 by Nico, and then I just took his list. I think he still beat me in day 2 of that one too, but I did very well with it. That was a good deck.
Yeah, in the binder, I would say.
Roy John asks, do you prefer Cinccino Mill or Pidgey Control?
Pidgey. I have Pidgey sleeved for some reason because I like solitairing.
Oh, that's
and it was the first thing I had the cards to like build a 60 card deck to solitaire. So yeah, Pidgey.
I will also say PG. I prefer PG Control for sure.
I still like Mill. Mill is not. This is not a fun strategy to me. It's like it's an aggro deck
so
without any of the fun of being an aggro deck.
You don't take prizes.
Yeah, but you're still
actually
like,
that's a lie. You do.
I want to win as fast as possible, but also I hate it. It's not fun to me.
Just play the one Aurora energy and an Aerodactyl GX when you play the Macargo and Mewtwo engine. So if your opponent stingers with Mewtwo, you go Aerodactyl, Aurora, GX attack game.
That was really cool.
This is Daver asks, do you think online competitive will survive when IRL comes back?
No. Like what we have now, these daily 500 whatever player tournaments that we have, I mean, you could literally enter a tournament every hour of a day some weeks. Like that's how crazy it is. This will not. I do not think this level will exist. I think online tournaments will still be a thing because it is a nice plus for people like me or other people that can't fly everywhere, can't drive to all these tournaments. It is a nice way to still play the hobby. However, I know as soon as I'm allowed to like go back to IRL events, I'm hitting a bunch of them right away because I miss them so much. I miss being with my friends, being with people I enjoy, league and stuff. So I don't think it'll be the level it is now. I just don't think it will die off completely. I think there's still room for it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Honestly, same opinion. I guess Robin created the website especially for the time we are living right now, with the healthy being the more important thing. Need to be careful, guys. And yeah, we have events at some point, but I guess the website was created because we real life tournaments, so it actually helps to actually, like Evie said, continue playing our hobby. So probably will be online events, but definitely not like in the level of everyday 20 tournaments with 500 people. But yeah, I think the website, well, we need to ask Robin probably, but the website, I guess, will continue being active, but definitely in not that high level right now, for sure.
Would you, and obviously this is like a lot of stuff would have to happen behind the scenes before this happens. Would you all be happy if Pokemon started to like use play.limitless for IRL regionals? So you just
Like as the tournament site?
Yeah, you just go to the website, find your table, find your opponent, report win-loss there instead of match slips. Heck, even call a judge from there.
I'd love that.
That probably wouldn't happen, but
I guess Arcanine Labs is good, and I guess Limitless website is good. So I guess both are really good. So if they actually use the Limitless website, it would be really nice because I guess it's really smooth and really cool. And Arcanine Labs is always, when I play regionals and international, Arcanine Labs goes really smooth too. So I'm really happy with both.
California regionals in the US don't use Arcanine.
I went to Dallas. I don't know if Dallas has Arcanine. I don't remember. I went to Dallas in January 2020, I guess, probably.
Dallas, I feel like Dallas did use Arcanine. Yes, Dallas did use Arcanine. But the ones in Cali, which is where I'm near at least, they don't use Arcanine. They use their own software, which is really bad. Sorry to any TOs from none of the organizers who run those regionals are watching. But it was not a good thing. So I'm with you. I like Arcanine. It's fine. I think Robin's done such a good job though. Play.limitless feels so much cleaner. And I also like the idea of being able to go check how like people I like or friends are doing at a regional, just like without having to text, because no one's going to check their phone. Well, some people do, but like in between rounds and stuff, it's just so easy on Limitless to be like, click, go here. Arcanine, it felt always hard to find the results pages. So that'd be nice. All right. And that is all of the questions from chat. Appreciate everyone for that. Pedro, where can the people find you, and any shout outs?
All right. So yeah, shout out to you, Melo. Thank you for, and Evie, of course, for inviting me to this podcast. It was really fun, really cool. I always love to talk, to actually discuss about Pokemon, about life. I really appreciate Melo too because he participated in my Union Cup. It was really cool to watch his coaching with Paul. Probably one of the best things of the Union Cup. I really enjoy that, Melo. So definitely nice to know you better time to time. So yeah, thanks so much. Hopefully we can repeat this at some point for sure. I always love to talk. Yeah, everyone that doesn't know me or know me can find me mainly in two social medias. I'm mainly active on Twitter, Sininchi, and doing streaming almost every day, kinda, or almost every day mainly, or 6 out of 7 days a week. I'm doing a streaming on Twitch, Sininchi with the number 18, Sininchi 18. I stream every day at like 2 p.m. in Spain, what is like 8 a.m., 7 a.m., depends on your time zone in America, Latin America, and stuff. Normally we play ladder. Now we play Empire's Cup Keys every day. We play tournaments. We're probably gonna go back to speedrunning Pokemon TCG 2 at some point. So always Pokemon TCG funny things. So yeah, it's initiating on Twitch. And yeah, really appreciate for being here. And hopefully everyone enjoyed it that. So yeah, that's mine.
Nikhil, where can the people find you?
NK0HLI on Twitter is my Twitter. Carpe D's Rats on Twitter is the team account if you want to follow any of our updates, maybe some leaks about our next podcast guest. And of course, we have our Sword and Shield on number 3 qualifier this weekend on Sunday, the 16th of May. Be there, free to enter as all our stuff is. I think 150 packs we're doing for prizing, and first and second place will be guaranteeing themselves a spot in our invitational at the end of summer. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me again, Mello.
No problem. Thank you both for joining me. And of course, you can find me, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube at mellow_Magikarp. And this has been another episode of The Lake of Rage. Catch you all next week.